So these are the different key positions. And so in each one of these, it's basically like a bit of a puzzle. And you got to try to figure out what to do. And then we're going to be, oh no, no, I got the wrong. Okay, I duplicated this one on accident. My bad. There's supposed to be a third one. But yeah, this is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna play against a bot and kind of talk it out and everything. We're gonna talk about one example here from a tournament I played in. I was actually playing black here, and then my opponent botched it. So this is kind of a contrasting example of what not to do. That being said, it was a tough position, and it's understandable why they made a mistake. And then we have these different excerpts. So we're not actually going to be looking at whole games, but rather just the critical part where they did the thing that aligns with our theme, which is going to be the idea of attacking along just different lines of attack. So you have ranks, files, and diagonals. I like to sort of get a gauge of where my audience is at. I kind of do my commentary a little bit different based on your guys' skill level. And since I don't see you week to week or anything, I'm not sure. So if you wouldn't mind just sharing what your chess.com rating is, or if you play on Lead Chess, maybe that one minus 200. So mine by the way, it's been up and down, but I've been coaching for 10 years, absolutely love doing it. Recently started streaming as well, and so if you're interested, you can go ahead and check that out here. So for myself, I am currently at 1900. On Lead Chess, actually, I was a little bit try hard with it, and I got to 2300. Good question. Whichever is higher. Whichever is higher for you. Again, the point of me asking you that is that I actually kind of do my commentary different based on where people are at. So don't have to share, but if you do, it certainly helps. So to kick things off here, I'm going to start with talking about this tournament that I played in. So I finished fourth, which I suppose, based on where we were at with all these different competitors, was sort of to be expected, loosely, I suppose. My rating put me as the 7th seed. This was an all-weekend event, and the time control was 1 hour with a 30-second increment. So super, super fun. Had a great time. And it was very tempting to talk about these games for the lesson content, but I figured, you guys would probably get a lot more out of it, or maybe not a lot more, but enough so that it's better to just stick to what I know the best, which is the art of attack. And so that's what these positions are going to be all about, is with that fantastic book that I love to cover, Art of Attack. So yeah, but as far as this goes, it was really neat. I in the end here, I won $78. Woohoo! But more significant to me was the fact that I was kind of considered amongst these different titled players, essentially based on how I did. So that was really neat. I mean, here we have a national master, FIDE master, international master, and throughout the tournament, I won all my games except for the one against the person who won the tournament. So, like I said, I could have walked you through all these games here, but chose to not do that and went instead with the Art of Attack. That being said, one of these games kind of featured the Art of Attack, and so I wanted to show that one. I want to give you guys the option. Do you want to do the bot first, or would you prefer to go right into the games? Where are you guys at? I probably have a bias towards the bot, but I would change my mind based on what you guys want to do. I'm willing to change my mind. 1 vote for games. 2 votes for games. I think that's decisive enough. We can look at the games here. One additional option, if you'd like, I could also play somebody. I kind of want to do some sort of a warm up activity. I I have sort of found that that can be a good way to sort of engage people. So one more vote with this. Um, do you guys want to have? Would anybody like to volunteer to play me like a 3 minute game, like 3+2, or would you guys prefer to go right to games? One vote for play, 3 votes for play. That's why I asked. Cool. Figured that'd be a good question for you guys. All right. Do we have any volunteers? Anybody want to get whooped on, more or less? I think it was about 3 months ago. I challenged someone. I did lose that one. I think that was towards the end. Obviously, there's, you know, decent chance I could lose depending on where you're at. Do we have any volunteers? Arvin says he'll play. Very cool, very cool. Here's what I want you to do. Let's actually play on Lichess so I can flex that rating that I'm very proud of now of 2,300. Check this out. I've been coaching chess for 10 years. I can play blindfold chess. I just absolutely love chess. I do it all the time, and I'm reading several books and climbing the ranks and everything. So my rapid rating on here. Check this out. 2,300. Very proud of this. Gonna be climbing the ranks towards maybe 2,400 soon. We'll see. All right. So my name on here is Ryan Time. Arvind, maybe go ahead and send me a challenge on there if you have lead chess. If not, we can do chess.com for, I guess, 10 minutes. We should probably do 5 or 3. Okay, what do you guys want to do? 3 minute or 10 minute? Tell you what, I'll just do the first one that comes in. Ryan Time, we can either do 3 minute, 3+2, 10 minute, whatever you want to do. One vote for 3+2. Here we go. 5+2. I like it. And it's casual, so not rated. That is perfect. Good luck to you. Let's see how we do here. So we got a French defense, Tarrasch variation, and then Gumard. Gumard variation of the French. Can you play that? Why don't I see that very much? Is it because of here, maybe? Okay, so if I take, you take, I go here, takes, there. That's looking good for you. So the only reason this would be uncommon then, it must be because of this. So just on principle, I'm going to play this. I'm best in the opening. Rest of my game is just pure trash. It's not that bad, but I mean, I'm definitely the best at the opening of the different stages of the game. Only 7 though. Oh man. Well, I appreciate all you guys being here. I wish the turnout was higher though. You guys got to tell your friends. Say there's this really cool coach, teaches these great lessons. You got to turn out for this. You'd also invite him today if you like. It's funner for everybody if there's more people here, so. So yeah, the bishop d3 move, I don't really see that very much. So I think it makes sense that that would be the correct follow-up to that. There's probably not a whole lot more to it. I always play the French, yeah. I actually asked my coach, Georgi Orlov, who's international master. I said, should I switch? That's all I really know. Should I switch to e5? And it was his opinion that I should not. And the rationale that he gave is that it's about more than just the opening too. He's actually also my employer, but even if he wasn't, I probably would have found him anyways. He's one of the highest rated players in the state. So that's why I did that. Also, I'm a coach, and so if you'd like, you can reach out to me. You can check out my website, and available for private lessons there as well. You can also check out my Twitch channel. I offer some free game analysis sometimes, that sort of thing. Okay, knight b3 here is trying to bring in this bishop. Again, I don't think I have a whole lot going here. It may be more of a long-term thing since I got rid of this guy. What can we do next? Okay, you're trying to bring your knight here, possibly. Let's see here. So can I just castle? Then castle. Let's go here. These doubled pawns are not the best for you, but if I break in the center, you can actually kind of knock this guy out, and then fix that. I might go f6. We'll see what happens. So if rook e1 on the opponent's turn, of course you want to make good use of the time, not just twiddle your thumbs or anything. Oftentimes what I try to do is just suggest some sort of reasonable looking move and then say, if they do that, what am I going to do? I play the Slav defense. Bishop to f4. Okie dokie, artichoke. So probably f6 is the way to go. You definitely can't take there, but if you go rook to e1, what would happen next here? So here takes, you got to take with the bishop. That's looking pretty handy dandy, so I think this has got to be the move. And if you'd like, tell me about yourself a bit. How long you guys been playing chess? How many hours a week do you play? Blitz, all that good stuff. So I'm also attacking the bishop, so he has to take back with this guy. He can't really go with anything else because then I take it. So he's got to go bishop takes, and then I have succeeded in kind of further isolating these guys into theoretically targets. However, I'm a bit underdeveloped, so it's kind of a stretch to say that I can do much with that as of right now. Still anyone's game basically. He's attacking here. Let's just play this move. He now has two defenders, so he could plausibly move to this square. We'll see what happens. And what can we do in the meantime? This bishop needs to come out. Where can it go? He's also attacking this square, so it's important I do something about that. Okay, so like I said, I don't want to be too rigid in my thinking and try to avoid undoubling these pawns. So this is an option. If I do that, then here takes, there, knight takes, and then what are we looking at doing next? If that's there, one idea is to go queen a5. No, because I'm not really I'm attacking this guy, but not so much anything else there. Because I need a plan where I am going to get the bishop out at some point. And the bishop kind of has a ways to go in that respect. And he's doing a great job kind of keeping that going and sort of continuing to lock it out. Probably I just want to get it to d7 and then maybe go around this way. Yeah, that must be the plan. So I can go takes with the knight or takes with the bishop, and then I bring this guy out. So takes, I go here takes, there takes, and then this. Or I could take with the bishop. If I take with this one, we're going to have opposite colored bishops, which could lend itself to an attacking situation. But his bishop's pretty dominant right here, so let's just do it this way. And then I'm going to take here and then move the bishop up. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure I messed up somewhere because this knight is probably going to be better than my bishop. And even after it gets to, right here, I can't actually come to g6. So I gotta figure out what's going on here. He probably cheated. He cheated. No, kidding, of course, but I messed up. I don't know. I think he's got an advantage. So queen can come out maybe. Let's say they go here. So I could go rook f5. Still kind of inclined to go with the rook to f5 move, but maybe queen. I can't go queen f6 because then this guy hangs. So if I go right here, then I kind of also protect this guy. Short on time, this seems like a reasonable bet. He goes with that move. Seems good, seems good. Okay, we'll go ahead and follow up with this move. I think. Oh my goodness. Wish there was another option. This knight is just a power piece here. Yeah, I'm just going to go with this. That might have been better. Kind of protecting here and also getting ready for rook g6. Great suggestion. I kind of wanted to leave this square available for my queen, though. So he might be trying to get some sort of battery going here. Hopefully that shouldn't give me too much trouble. We'll see what happens, though. I may need to do this very slow idea of getting the rook in this way or something. That's the best I can think of. And then again, my opponent here is doing a great job of keeping it such that it's a closed position, which is better for knights. And then also my pawns are locked on light squares. Oh my goodness! I'm missing stuff right and left. Good thing he didn't say it either. Kapow! Whew! Okay, I'm going to win this game. Thanks to Dan. I probably would have seen that the next move, but good suggestion, and keep it going with commentary and questions and all that. Makes it fun for everybody. He's going to move this guy. We'll go takes. And then, wait a second. I go here. I got myself another pawn. Oh my goodness gracious. This went from kind of bad to good to amazing. Okay, this knight, speaking of amazing, is still really good. What if I just sacrifice my rook for it? I think that may make sense. Give up 1 point there. I'm up 3, so it'll be +2. That should do it. d4 is also hanging. When you're trying to convert the advantage, especially in a time scramble type of a situation, it's not imperative that you play the best move, which is of course unlike a puzzle where that's the only acceptable thing that you can do. You gotta play the best move or nothing, right? And in our last session last month, I talked about that with that theme of convert the advantage. You can check that out as well on my YouTube channel. That's how I look at it. It's more valuable to just go with whatever makes sense to you than anything else there. So I can't quite push this guy. And one of the reasons for that is that then you can kind of budget more time later. So I agree with what you said, and I think I should have found that. But I was trying to move sort of quickly and, made an oversight there. But then I can budget more time for later. Like right now, I kind of need it because I want to go here, but I can't because he just takes, or they just take. So what do I do? What do I do here? My goodness. Well, maybe I go like this. I go here, and then I can push it. Yeah. Thanks for giving me some slack there, yeah. So if I take here and I go back like this, that's probably a good ending for me. Can I go maybe here, though? How about if I go... Yeah. Yeah, we'll take it. What's the turnout for you guys when I'm not here? Is it just kind of sparse attendance in general? Just striving to be the best coach I can. And if there's stuff I can do better, I wanna do that. Kind of, yeah. I think the first week I did this, or first month or whatever, I think it was 20. And then yeah, kind of a dip in attendance since then. That's all right though. So then this is a problem like that he can do this check still. So I have to kind of watch out for that. Can I go G5? Probably not so much. At least not yet. Let's go like this. And then I might come out this way to G6. We'll go do that here. A little bit risky looking. See what happens. Light square is looking weak. He's doing a great job putting up some defense here. Until that move. Oh my goodness. What was that? Now I got a protected passer. And you got squat. Maybe not squat, but we'll see what happens here. I'll go like this. And then what happens if I just shuffle? Because if I go here, then you're in a little bit of a tough spot there, I think. Yeah. Yep, so now I'm going to mop up these pawns here. Oh, really? Interesting. Wait, so do you guys have other coaches that join in too? That's really interesting. I didn't know that. Which is cool you guys do that. You know, get some variety and everything. Who else coaches this one? Good game, good game. Thanks for playing. So let's go ahead and have a look at this one. So the critical spot happened right about here. So I was playing this tournament game. I'm not sure if there are other coaches. I don't get it. Moving on. Okay, so this is a critical spot right here, and this is in my second round tournament. This was one of the sloppiest games that I played. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I learned from this one here, especially after I lost the following round to an international master. I found that to be really instructional as far as learning to really focus on calculating, you know, and trying to do the best I can there. And so this game here is pretty sloppy for both sides here. But basically what happened here is that my opponent had a choice. They can either play fast and hope I'm going to blunder in time pressure, or they can roll up their sleeves and try to convert this attack here into a win. So here they thought for 3 minutes. You know, this is a critical position, so it really doesn't make sense to only spend 3 minutes on this. And clearly the choice here is between going bishop takes g7 or maybe e7. I chose this spot because, as it turns out, it's actually necessary that they play several moves in a row, back to back to back, which are, just sort of spot on. You have to be really, really spot on here, or nothing. So here they went with e7. Now, of course, this move here looks a little bit more intuitive, so it's kind of surprising they didn't play this at first glance. But actually, there's kind of more to it than this. Because if they go here and I go h5, they have to have a pretty specific plan on how to meet this. So after there and then h5, what's the move here for white? The next two moves are tough to find, so I think this is why she missed it. But also because she didn't put enough time into it. If you go queen g5, so queen g5 right here, then this is going to be a blunder because black is attacking white too. Rook takes e6, and you're in some hot water there. You can go like bishop to right here, to block it, but then you're going to lose the queen, right? Wait, hold on. That's not true because the bishop's pinned. Wait, what is it? So after here, check, bishop to e5, king d7. Wham, wham. Another suggestion in the chat here is bishop here to f6, and this is another very reasonable suggestion. Again, this is why I picked this position, is because this one actually was pretty tough. Bishop to f6, good suggestion, not quite the right move there. You know what black plays here? This is kind of wild. The best move makes black up a rook. And the second one is down. Yeah, exactly. A ton of material. So you just castle right here. Who needs a pawn shield, right? So you get out of it that way. Yeah. What else we got? Suggestions? Yes, e7 now. The timing on this was important. You have to go e7 now, and then after this here, then we're looking at king takes e7, and then queen to b4 check. This move is also critical. So, again, it's understandable why they missed all this, because you have to find that follow-up move. If you don't, and you just play something like queen d4, then the attack is neutralized. And if you don't go to b4, where else are you going to go? If the queen goes anywhere else, it's actually going to be captured. But that was the correct plan, and unfortunately, they missed it right there. And instead, I'm going to flip this board around. I was able to make a comeback. So they went here. I took, and then here check, and then this way, here check, and then here. And when I played king f6, I thought, oh boy, this is going to be one of my best games ever. Super exciting, king on f6. And then I found out later, oh, it was very sloppy on both sides, but still it was exciting. King on f6 like this is really kind of unusual. And basically this rook here is going to come into e6 in a moment. That's the whole threat. In the meantime, what's white to do here? Well, white's going to go this way, takes, and now here check, this comes back. And again, this is an example of how you don't attack. Because white let the position kind of collapse, and then I end up winning this game. Bishop to h5, really snazzy move here. You want to take the rook, go for it. Checkmate next turn. Knight comes this way. As it turns out, knight to e4 was the right move. Kind of a hard one to see, but she's playing too fast. This way, grabs. We go like this. Here check there, and then here, I believe there was a draw possible if they went with, queen g4. Look at how fast she moved. 30 seconds. Went from a draw to losing like that. Got to take your time. After here, I go d4. This comes there. I go check, and then checkmate. All right, so that's how you don't do it. When it's critical, you got to take your time. Otherwise, you can totally blow it. We got 3 excerpts to look at. This is the first one up. This is Capablanca versus an opponent that was in a simul game. So he was playing this game and other ones as well. This is from 1914. But it's such a cool example that we still look at it today. So again, the theme here is lines of attack. And so in this one here, it's going to be the horizontal ones, the ranks. And both sides' back ranks are weak right now. And so there's potential to leverage that for both sides. We're going to go here takes, there takes, here, and then Capablanca knocked it out of the park here with the following move. Who sees it? Who's going to be first? Queen check is not quite right. I think white was anticipating this. That's not the right move. Queen to b2. What are you doing? Giving up your queen for free? Here check, mate. And then great critical thinking. Glad you brought this up. It seems like after this, only move is here, and then here, this is a total knockout, right? Except for, whoops, checkmate. So that's why this very snazzy move here, queen b2, removes the defender, and if white tries to move the queen to safety and protect here, not going to happen. There, and we won the rook. If takes, we do rook d1, and it is checkmate. So this is the advantage of being prepared ahead of time, that I can just go right to the next one. That is what we're going to do. Next example up here is this position. So it's white to move here, and oddly, kind of a consistent theme within each of these is promoting a pawn. So, it kind of comes down to, I guess, converting the advantage in a way, that was the topic of the last month's lesson. And so, when you're in a position like this and both sides back ranks are weak and you're thinking maybe I'll mate the king, don't forget that a really common thing that you do when you attack the king is just transition to a winning endgame. Very common. Very, very common. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go here takes, this grabs back, and then what should we do now? As you guys can tell, I love asking questions. I ask loads and loads of questions. Gotham chess doesn't do that quite as, not nearly as much at all, which I thought was interesting. That's my style. That's my style. Why doesn't he take the queen instead of taking back? You mean like, hold on. Oh, you mean in this position? Oh, okay, good question. So if right here, good. Okay, you guys are asking good questions. Then, why take instead of queen f1? Good questions. All right, if you do this, first off, then here takes, here. Bada bing, bada boom, white wins. Next one up. They said, what about queen to f1 check? Oh no, I'm getting mated. No, I'm not. You're in a pin. Can't use that rook yet. This is how you learn, is you ask critical questions like that. Really common, in really well-written chess books, is they leave stuff like that out to kind of make it more crisp. But if you're not finding questions like that, that means you're not really learning, So you guys got the right idea. Another comment here we said is queen d5 forcing a trade winning. So if we go here, you mean on this turn here, so we go like this. Why is it not moving that? Why can't I just go here? I can't create a subvariation on this one? Okay, what if I go like... Why can't I make a move here? What's the deal? I can't make any alternative move? What? What's happening? I have to refresh the page or something? I don't get it. Okay. Oh, that one. Okay. No, it didn't work there. Here, I can refresh the page. So we'll go, let's see, this is the second example. Go like this. Okay. So what if I just go like this? Okay, that makes 0 sense whatsoever. So I can't make any other move on the first move. Okay, looks like a little bug in their software. I don't know. So here check, if you go this way, and then forcing a queen trade, then takes back, then let's see here. So here check, then here takes, rook takes, we're getting mated? No, not quite, but you can go here, right? And then you win a rook. Okay, so, after the rook trade, okay. So here takes, there takes, then queen d5. Okay, good suggestion, however, not quite right. If you go this way, then this is a little bit, better rook endgame for you, but this is going to be a tough grind, and with best play, I don't know, maybe black can hold a draw here. King comes up like this, and then knocks this guy out. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to go queen here to b6. We go this way, we're attacking the rook, and starting to kind of clear the way for this pawn. After this, black goes, well, I got another idea. It's called checkmate. I'm coming down here. What you going to do about it? And we're going to go here. We say, bring it on. Bring it on. Rook f1 check. What is the move here? Do we take first and then go queen g1, or queen g1 now? Rook takes right here. Here takes. Queen comes back. And then queen here. Your pawn is doomed. It's doomed. That's why instead you want to play the very fanciful queen to g1. Idea being that takes. This rook is in a perfect spot to push this pawn. If instead here, what's another option? This way grabs, queen takes, same exact thing. It's supporting this pawn, and at the same time is helping out this king here quite a bit by guarding that last rank. Okay, so then that's going to do it for this one. So to recap here, the critical concept going on is that black was counterattacking along this last rank, right? Meanwhile, white's trying to advance this pawn. So by juggling between balance of attack and defense, he was able to go ahead and get that pawn all the way to the other side. Okay, last game up right here. We got this one. So we're going to be spending... Any other questions, by the way, on this one? If so, let me know. Okay, so right here, let's also read out of this book here, by the way. Let's read what this fantastic author has to say about this position. So he says here that, I remember he says, rook from f to e1 is a common-looking move. He says that, oh no, my video died. He says this move right here seems like a decent bet. Just kind of protecting this pawn and everything. And then after this, then maybe moving the knight back. So here, this guy goes this way, and then we go here, and then bishop takes c2, rook c1. This is like a very sort of natural-looking response. Not good enough for Alekhine. He says, all right, you're attacking my pawn. Tell you what, you can have it. This position is from the game Alekhine, Cone, Stockholm, 1912. White to move must try to retain his extra pawn. A realistic tournament player would probably play what I just mentioned a second ago with this here. However, this seemed too limp a solution to the young Alekhine, who wanted to keep black's knight in its corner at h6 a little longer. And so, a typically incisive way he defended the pawn on e5 was to do so indirectly, or rather sold it, again for that back rank, lines of attack. In recognizing the potential for that, he said, have at it. You can go ahead and play that yourself. Okay, interesting. So even if I play the first move that's actually it doesn't work. So I have to press the arrow key. Well, all right. After here, then rook takes e5, and we are going to play pawn to c5. A little more spice. If here takes this way, what's the move now? It's fancy. But not very deep. Yeah, knight e6. You nailed it. Good job. Knight comes here, you're attacking the rook, and you're threatening checkmate. So that would do him in. After this here, then he makes the opponent here makes the move rook to a6. He could have put up more resistance by instead going rook to f6. For if knight to f5, that does not achieve much because of king to f8. Correct instead, after rook f6, would be the move knight back to f3, against which black must play rook back to e8, guarding the back rank, but definitely not the move here grabs on account of knight to f5. Okie dokie. So, after this then, he goes over there to a6, like this, okay, and then after there, then we see the move knight to e6 like this. So this is a great call a second ago, but it's actually ill-fitting in this position. Better instead would have been the move knight to b5, which is equally effective in stopping black's rook from returning to the back rank, with the help of also going knight takes c7. But at the same time, does not leave the knight on e6. This point is demonstrated by the following variations. If king to h8, here check, king comes back, knight takes f7, this grabs and this grabs right here. And then what he's saying is that now the knight's not on so the rook can't take here. There's one more variation, but for the sake of momentum, we'll just keep going. So he goes this way, making an error, and then now king slides over this way, Okay, kind of a it's not that hard, but a little bit of a curveball. What's the point of this move? I'll try to find a tougher question in a second. The knight can block. Very good, very good. Yep. So we're gonna use this knight here, which, as the author pointed out a second ago, isn't doing much. So it's fitting to kind of use it for something at least, where it comes back and does this, right? So we're gonna do this check. After here, knight comes back this way, and then we're just gonna take this pawn, right? So this is what I was saying a second ago. When you're attacking, you got to be thinking, okay, if it comes down to it, I may just simplify this into a situation where I'm in a winning end game. There's actually some more meat on the bone when we get there. This is the longest example we have, so we're going to be talking about how the end game went too. But that's Alekhine's point here. He's saying, okay, I have to sort of let go of the attack for a second. Sure, I can try to go here with the idea that it's mate, but I gotta pay my opponent the respect he's due, and know that he's not gonna just do that, and he's gonna play something like this. There grabs, right? Now, if you take with the what was that? Knight takes f7 doesn't work here because of here, and then this grabs on e6. So this pertains to what the point was earlier, that this knight would be better placed on b5 to make this a possibility. But here instead he goes, all right, bah humbug, I have to kind of let go of the attack for a second, and goes this way. After right here, then the rook is now going to grab here on a2, and then we're just going to go this way. Now the black already has a rook on a2. If instead we opt for doing it this way, bishop takes, rook takes, this would be answered by the move rook e to e2. Lines of attack, right? Not just the back rank, but also this one. And then if instead, there he goes with the move rook takes f7, then, right, with the idea that, okay, my knight's no longer here, so maybe this works a little better, right? Makes sense to mention this. If there, then we're looking at the move, what is that? Right here. What? That just hangs a rook. Well, not quite, because if you take this guy, you knock out the piece that was supporting this whole tactic, right? So here, check, this guy moves over. Whoops, no knight here, right? So again, kind of, you got to manage the aspect of the opponent doing some counterattacking stuff. If instead, after this move, you go king over here to f1, now they just do this move. And so if you go here, trying to do that double rook thing here, I do not. I teach chess full time, and I absolutely love it. My camera's back. Yes. So here we go this way, check, and then black has now defended off this whole attack. See, so that's common. When you're attacking, you got to be realistic. Like, okay, if I keep pushing it, am I going to end up in a bad spot? If the answer is yes, then, hit the brakes. Transition. Pivot. Okay, so he goes this way, and after rook takes a2, we're just going to bring in our rook this way. Okay, so then next we're going to go f6 here, and then now we get a take. So it's not, completely dichotomous. You can still go back to the attack in a second, look for those tactics, and you just got to juggle, right? We're going to do this move here, and then basically his aim here is to get to an ending where he's got two knights against the rook. That is the whole planorama. He's not going for mate. He's going for the endgame. After this here takes, we go here check. This guy comes back. We go here this way. Here check. We knock out this rook. And is this endgame won? Yes. Does he play the game perfectly? No. So similar to what I showed you guys in the first example here, it's quite possible to botch it, right? We saw here, there was a moment where when we transitioned like this, they first botched the attack, but then here they kind of were sloppy and made this move, which lost them the game. They could have held a draw had they gone queen g4, right? So whether it's at club level or elite level, that still happens. So there's a chance actually where black could have won, as we'll see in a second here. Knight to c4. After this, then king comes up this way. We bring in this knight guarding that c5 pawn. Then the author says, one might now say, and white won after 20 moves. For this position no longer has anything to do with the difficulties on the back rank, but it is worth remarking that the task is a difficult one. So difficult indeed that Alekhine went astray after the following. Rook to a1 check, king f2. This guy comes here. We guard the knight, and then pawn to a5, and he messes it up with his move, king e2. What should he have played instead? We got about 5 more minutes. Knight g5. All right, let me check on my handy-dandy computer here. Those of you who have been in my class before know that I like to be resourceful. Glass half full way of looking at it. I am not a grandmaster, but I can give you really accurate answers straight away by checking with the engine. If you go here, then what are we looking at? So this guy's back this way. If you go knight to g5 here, then now don't you just you drop c5. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We needed that pawn. That pawn was our friend. Good question here. Good point. Good point. I don't think you necessarily want to trade this one for this one, but let's take a look. So if you go here, oh, interesting. Look at that. It repeats the same bug. No, okay, it didn't. Whatever. All right, so here takes, and then e5 is hanging. You guys bring up good points. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad I have the computer to figure this out. I mean, I'm so glad that I'm just so brilliant that I can come up with these answers off the top of my head. But I can give you very accurate answers straight away and then make sense of them here. Okay, so your plan then is after king takes c5, you want to grab this way. So after here, if you grab here, then black is actually winning now after a4. Oops. Are you convinced? Here, here. If instead you go this way, these knights are now no match for this pawn. If instead you opt for this e5 pawn, let's see what happens there. There, and then king b4. Or more high level is just the idea that you don't really want to trade one of these pawns for this one. And this is kind of like your biggest asset, so you got to hold on to that guy. So the right answer here is the more knight b6, interesting suggestion. There's the more conservative knight back here to d2. Instead, he goes with this one, king over to e2. And then this was answered by the great move, a great move here by black, pawn a4. Well, now he botched it again here. One point here is that he should not take the knight here on e4 on account of the move pawn c6. You can't catch up with this pawn now. After which white, objectively speaking, should not have got more than a draw. Alekhine, however, did not submit to the move knight c3. Here takes knight c3. Here takes knight takes a4, king d4, but went on instead to risk it. So here would have been a draw. He should have settled for a draw and said, all right, I botched it. Got to deal with the position in front of me. It's a draw now. Very hard to do, especially when you had a really promising looking initiative for such a long time. So after here, instead, then we see the move pawn to a3 here, and then rook to c1, and so reached a losing position. Play continued with the move king to d3, and then pawn to a2, knight b3. Again, Alekhine is now losing. He wins it later, but he was now losing here. Here check, king c2, there, grabs, this way, and then here. What should black have played? I can give some lectures. I like it. There's not too many options, I guess, right? Yeah, king c4. He was winning. Maybe it was time trouble. Maybe his opponent was in, maybe Alcan was in time trouble and he was trying to, win on the clock. But yeah, here is winning, here is losing. Oh my goodness. Well, after right here, for example, just to show it, pawn to c6, rook a7. And then we say no mas, no more. You can't push this guy. And these guys are instead going to be able to stop it. So if here, and we can't make further progress here and here, it looks like. You can go knight d5, couldn't you? Well, you don't take the knight, you would go here, I guess, right? Okay, so in the game here, he goes king c6, and our winning prospects have been revived. So after right here, the finished ran with the following moves: king to d3, rook f1, pawn g3, and then, I don't know if I put in all the moves here. Let's see. Knight b5. Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. And then I got to run after this. But did you guys learn some stuff? Have some fun? Feel inspired? What do you guys think? Did you like it? So these two pawns here are just incredible. Cool. Glad to hear. Here check. And then again, these two pawns here are just no match. For whatever black is trying to go for here. Glad to hear it. This is always a big highlight of the month for me. I really look forward to doing these, and I would say too, I've also been challenged to even be a better coach. I'm not used to or wasn't used to preparing this much for lessons, and I have gained quite a bit from the experience and the opportunity. So I certainly appreciate it. A quick aside here, and then I'm going to wrap it up. I've even got some more organization going on with this, so check this out. As software engineers, I bet you guys will appreciate this a little bit. I've recently kind of revamped my folder system. So it goes chess, and then I have coaching, improving, and tournament. So by compartmentalizing that, I've been able to make some headway. I used to, I mentioned this because you guys are software engineers. You might find this interesting. When I was doing code, I found that was kind of a big, foothold for me is when I established a little file tree for that, and so I kind of applied that to chess, and it has been terrific. So for example, for tournament stuff, I have like player prep. And then for coaching, I've got, these different PGN files. And so that's what you're looking at here today. So, if I didn't have this opportunity, maybe I wouldn't, figure that out. So I appreciate it. And I will see you guys in a month. Play lots of chess. Take care.